1% means 1 out of 100. To find 1/100th of something, we divide by 100. So to find 1% of something, we divide by 100. So 1% of £400 is found by dividing 400 by 100 to get £4. We can then multiply to find other percentages. To find 3% of £400, since 1% of £400 is £4, then 3% of £400 is 3 times £4, which is £12. 4% of £400 is 4 times £4, which is £16. With other percentages, the multiplying can sometimes be more difficult, but there are quicker ways for some percentages. For instance, 50% means 50 out of 100, and that fraction will cancel down to 1/2. So to find 50% of something, we divide by 2. To find 50% of £400, we divide 400 by 2 to get £200. To find 25% of something, we could divide by 2 to find 50%, then divide by 2 again to find 25%. Since 25 is 50 divided by 2. Or since 25% means 25 out of 100, which cancels down to 1/4, we could just divide by 4. So to find 25% of £400, we could either work out 400 divided by 4, which equals £100, or we could divide 400 by 2 to get £200, then divide £200 by 2 to get £100. 10% means 10 out of 100, and that fraction cancels down to 1 over 10, or 1/10. So to find 10% of something, we divide by 10. To find 10% of £400, we divide 400 by 10, which is £40. To find 20% of something, find 10% first, then double it. To find 30% of something, find 10% first, then multiply by 3. To find 40% of something, find 10% first, then multiply by 4. To find 5%, find 10% first, then half it. To find 15% of something, find 10%, half it to find 5%, and then add them together. For example, to find 50% of £400, 10% of £400 is 400 divided by 10, which is £40. 5% is £40 divided by 2, which is £20. So adding together, 15% will equal 40 plus 20, which is £60. To find 75% of something, some people will find 10%, multiply it by 7 to get 70%, half the 10% to get 5%, then add the 70% to the 5%. But it's a lot quicker to find 25% by dividing by 4, or by dividing by 2, then by 2 again. Multiplying by 3, since 75 is 25 multiplied by 3. Another quicker method is to divide by 2 to get 50%, divide it by 2 again to get 25%, then add the two answers together. If we use method A to find 75% of £400, we will find 25% of £400, which is 400 divided by 4, which equals £100. Then multiply £100 by 3 to give £300. If we use method B to find 75% of £400, we find 50% of £400, which is £400 divided by 2, which equals £200. Then find 25% by dividing £200 by 2, which equals £100, then add together 200 and 100 to give £300.